somebody opens a public meeting, just keep it in the microphone the other way.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sure.
Family first. We'll
sorry.
Yes, how many was that?
5.
Oh, with 5, okay.
C's and 6.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll make sure you get the right count.
It only takes 4 of us.
There's no mics back there,
See
Steve.
for a majority of the quorum.
Does that mean I can go
You
home?
wanna say Mike?
Or you can set up today.
Man, don't say that too loud now, Mike.
All right, we ready?
No.
No? Okay. Good evening. I'd like to open the Public Works Committee meeting of Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. To call to order, please. Roll call.
Alderman Mike O'Kane,
Here.
Tom Hightower,
Here.
Jim Pichard, Carolyn Wands, Ed Butler,
Present.
Chairman Mike Poor,
Present.
5 present.
By present. Of course, everyone knows Alderman Iverson passed. He was vice chairman of this committee, so whoever happens to be appointed, Ward 7 will come to this committee, then we'll have to have an election for a vice chair. Also, Alderman Pichard is ill. I haven't heard the latest on him, so keep him in your prayers. And just before came in today, the helicopter was going over. Mayor Williams' uncle Eric was having some tests. Had 2 heart attacks during the tests, so they're airlifting him to Champaign. So I don't know anything else about that, but I told him I would announce that. So keep that family, or all those families in your prayers, please. Moving on to item number 2, we have the approval of the minutes from May 13th. If there are no corrections, need a motion to approve, please.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item number 3 is the agenda. There are no deletions from the agenda, so need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on to audience comments. First, under audience comments, we have 3 public hearings we'll be doing. The first one, 4A, is a public hearing for the petition to vacate an alley near 419 Benzel Avenue and 501 Benzel Avenue for petitioner, the City of Danville, on behalf of James Osterberg and George A. and Patricia A. Facilio. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of that alley vacation? Okay, you have anything to say? You come up to the mic if you want.
I just want to know how he's going to divide that alley up.
In the past, it's gone half to each person.
Right.
Yeah. So the way the legal description writes, it is split right down the middle.
Okay.
Yes.
And how much does it cost? Is there any fee?
This was instigated by the city of Danville after the vacation of the quote-unquote tot lot. So the fee per ordinance will be waived.
Right. Okay. Okay. There's a sidewalk going along that park. Would that be part of city yet, or is it that gonna be part of my property?
Let myself and Director Rui go out and take a look at that. It's
Okay.
something that we have not investigated yet.
Okay.
We will certainly do that, though.
That sidewalk looks pretty bad in the
Yeah.
first place.
That will be something we'll investigate and have figured out before the formal consideration.
Okay. I just wonder if I could recommend something else.
Yeah.
There's 3 trees there. The biggest one, the oldest one, needs to be trimmed.
Okay.
Because there's some dead limbs in it. I wonder if there's a way the city could trim that tree down, or.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at that while we're out there looking at the sidewalk.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. That's all I want. I think
Okay.
that's all I want to say. So
Mr. Osprey, you get half an alley. How about that?
I'll be fine.
Okay. Anyone to speak against the alley vacation? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing on that and move on to B, a public hearing for petition to vacate an alley near 110 Orchard Street. Petitioner Kenneth W. Kuchevsky. Mr. Kuchevsky is here in the audience. Is there anyone here to speak for or against the alley vacation? Ken?
I just want to clean up the property line is all, move it over, and, because now it's
divided, as you know.
Yep.
Right down the middle, people drive in there, and they're not gonna clean it up.
Yep. Okay.
That's it.
Alrighty. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close the public hearing on that vacation and we'll move on to foresee a public hearing for the 2025-2029 CDBG Draft Consolidated Plan and the 2025 Draft Annual Action Plan. Who's taking that?
I can take it. For those of you that are new to council and have not been a part of this plan making process, this is a 5-year plan for CDBG Community Development Block Grant Funding. It's a mandate by the grant source, which is HUD. They mandate that the city of Danville hold at least a half a dozen public hearings. It's a large process, and it's a pretty large document. We hold about a half a dozen public hearings throughout 2 to 3 months, and there should be a handout in front of you. So without going through the actual details of the plan, which is readily available to the public, or if you want to see a copy, we can send it. It might be in your packets, I'm not sure. But I can go over the high points, which is the funding. Take all of these and multiply them by 5. So the way 5-year plans work is an action plan is derived each year and submitted to HUD. And it will change, but not very much. Like this year, the city of Danville is receiving an allocation of $946,586. That will go up or down just a little bit every year. But each year we're mandated to pass a different budget, but it has to be derived out of the 5-year consolidated plan. So really we want to get it right the first time around, or else we have to come back and change it, okay? So what we're proposing on an annual basis through public feedback, and to be quite frank with you, it's pretty similar probably throughout the last 2 decades, is public improvements and infrastructure is $226,000 and $586. For rehabs, essentially $350,000. That is an increase from last year by $100,000. For blight removal or demolitions, $150,000. Non-homeless special needs you'll see on there. That's for accessibility modifications to homes, bathrooms, doorway expansions, ramps on the exterior, things like that. Homelessness support, $15,000, and for administration expenses, $175,000. So do you have any questions for those allocations?
Well, we had talked when the homeless came up. Is that what the 15,000 is, or is that going to be something from another source? Yeah. So as you're aware, holding on to CDBG funding is bad. Yeah. We have a timeliness expenditure of 1.5 times your grant award. So essentially $1.5 million you can quote unquote hold on to at any given time. So the expectation for the homelessness funds in this plan is to be fluid or flexible, okay? We need to have a plan in place that we can ensure that if a large amount of CDBG dollars are allocated, it needs to be spent that fiscal year. We don't want to hold on to this for two years or more. That's when we start to get into trouble, okay? So what we discussed last week, it's still completely available, but just know an amendment will occur for that. But there is reason. Sure. Butler.
Yes, I'm reading this here as well. Here it says homelessness prevention. Now my brain is saying that we find them somewhere to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And so is that true? Is it a fact? Or the ones that we remove from Ellsworth that now they got somewhere to stay?
Yeah.
Or,
so it's much broader than that. Yeah, it's much broader than that. It's truly decided by the city council and the city team, and then eventually approved by city council. So I'll give you examples of what the city has done in the past with these homelessness dollars while I've been here. The first project we did was provide funding to, well, both projects went to the dwelling place. One was to provide necessities, like we furnished the dwelling place when it first got open, provided food, help them get off the ground to start. And the second project is currently undergoing right now is the rehabilitation of the home on Payne Street. That's about $100,000 rehabilitation. So yeah,
That's the dwelling place.
that's the dwelling place. Yeah, it just needs to be allocated towards homelessness support. We can get into the nitty gritty in the future. There's administrative mandates from HUD that can make the expenditure of funds more challenging. So with a small staff, we try to keep the projects very straight and narrow, for lack of better words. So rehabilitations or construction projects to support homelessness is typically the route we go, because that's what the city of Danville has employed to do right now. Our specialty is rehabilitations or construction.
Yeah, so is it too much to ask or for us to do? Like, so we tearing down all these houses. We done took ownership of a lot of houses here in Danville. And especially one there on Jewel Street there. I think the fire department was doing some kind of smoke demonstration on that house. I mean, when I was working for Community Action Agency as an energy conservation specialist, inspecting that home, it was a nice house. Got an excellent roof on it, and it had a boiler, and on the inside, the hardwood floors. And can we or will we ever, take some of this money or some monies and take and rehabilitate some of these houses, and have somebody administrator to administrate the upkeep of these houses and renovate them, and to have some of these houses for the homeless?
Yeah. So that's what the affordable housing rehabilitation on your table, the $350,000, that's what that's for. But there are some mandates that HUD provides to us. Single family owner occupied is the key there. Whenever the city owns something and rehabilitates it, it gets a little bit trickier per their standards. So we do have rehabilitations on homes that are likely heading to the path of that Jewel Street address that you're talking about. We're just getting them before they get there through rehabilitation while they're owner occupied. So the city is doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'd like to see that happen, and if we have to hire somebody to maintain, do a check, even that house, that size, can house 2 homeless people. In that house. And so I'd like to see that done with your expertise and your knowledge, and you all guys, Childress and Dave, and could make that happen through grants or whatever.
Yeah.
Part of the goal is to get them before they become too far gone to rehab.
Yeah, that's true there, but we have some already that's too far gone, and that's why they were removed.
Oh yeah.
So the ability is to help them all, and to try to make sure that it happens.
Yeah, when you look at the breakdown on the spreadsheet, the numbers correspond.
Right.
Like the 2 preserve existing affordable housing under goal name, and then 2 under affordable housing rehab. That kind of those 2 go together.
Right. Okay. And I see that we helped at least took 20 persons was assisted.
It will be much more than that. That's a very conservative number. What we report to HUD, we need to meet. So we set the number very conservatively. I expect to do more rehabilitations than that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Good. Sounds good.
Other questions? Any questions we can take questions from the audience too since this is a public hearing. Anybody out in the audience have questions? No. Okay, we will close the public hearing on 4C. Item 5, Chairman's comments. I already told you about the mayor and Alderman Bouchard, so again, just keep those families in your thoughts and prayers. Okay, moving on to item 6, approval of the payrolls. These will be from the June 6th run. I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions on the payrolls? Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Hightower,
Yes, please.
Bouchard, Wands,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Four,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. Item number 7 is approval of the vouchers payable. These will be from June 10th. Need a motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay, questions on the payables?
I
Alderman
got
Butler.
one question. He might probably can explain it. It deals with the, man, let me put my glasses on first.
What-
I'm sorry.
What page are you on? Do you know what page?
Yeah, it's the first one.
First one, okay.
Yeah, it's the first one. And it's just about the advertising. And who is Houck? Hawk? So, you know, I'm new to this.
Hi. So what it is our bus advertising on one of the DMT buses. We pay for City of Danville branding advertising on the back and the side of it. So it has our logo and some pictures of the City of Danville. So as it travels around, we kind of get more advertising and people see that it's part of the City of Danville.
Oh, so that's ours there then.
Yep, it's our DMT buses, which actually it helps our DMT out. I believe they've received some type of commission if we use their buses or something like that. Director White, you might be able to speak more to that than I can.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Yeah, lay it on me, Steve. Okay. Good, good. Yeah, okay, there. So I thought there was another company using our buses for advertisement, and I was wondering since we're paying it, I mean, do they pay us up front, or you know how they go? You know, I'm just learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, thanks, Brianna.
Anything else, Alderman Butler?
No, that's it.
Any other alderman? No. Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Hightower,
Yep.
Bouchard, Wands,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Four,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. Moving on to item number 8, community relations. We have Administrator Olis. We have 8A, a resolution approving the application to Levitt Foundation for the Levitt Music Series grant. Need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Am I pronouncing that name right?
Rihanna Ollis, yes.
No, Levitt.
Oh, I'm like, I get that a lot. Here we go.
Olis.
Yeah, and it's Levick Music Series grant.
Okay.
So all it is a traveling music series. Our goal is that it can go around to the different neighborhood associations and just bring the community together. And we're looking for some partners. Arts in the Park will be our main partner on it. So just showing some community initiative and providing some activities for families.
Questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Hightower,
Yes.
Four,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. Item of information, Administrator, anything? Comments on the luau?
Oh, the luau was so fun. Even though it was rainy, we were preemptive. We rented a tent and made the best of it. We still had a good attendance. We had about 300 people come out. We had a lot of our sponsors there, so we were really happy to show our sponsors kind of what they're contributing to, since First Fridays don't spend any tax dollars at all. And then upcoming is 4th of July is our next First Friday, and we're doing a downtown carnival.
Ah,
Yeah.
they had a good pineapple drink. They took a pineapple, cut the top off, cored it out, put in fruits and juice and gummy bears and worms and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they put an umbrella
For only
on top of it, too.
$12.
Yeah, they put an umbrella on top of it too. didn't they?
Yeah, umbrellas. Yeah. Little sweet.
Yeah, little sweet.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to item number 9, Chief Yates. We have 9A, a resolution approving the purchase of police radios from Mobile Communications America. Need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Hey, Chief.
Thanks for letting me bring this to Public Works. It was sort of needed to be expedited due to the price and the cost. We went through Sourcewell. Administration Manager Josh Campbell did a lot of work on this on TNN, and if you remember on Resolution 2025-48, we encumbered $145,000 from the 24-25 fiscal year into this current one because we didn't want to rush and just buy the first thing without doing our good tests and evaluate and assessments. We went through Sourcewell. They got a contracted price for the 85 radios at $130,000. We reached out after with Sourcewell in testing the Motorola 2A radios, chargers, remote speakers, clips, backup batteries. They were able to meet that plus subtract another $19,353, which will total cost be $111,465, which is almost $20,000 less. So that, like I said, that was a lot of work done in his part, and we're certain that these are the radios that we're needing. One of the problems that we're having with these radios, one, they're old. Two, when something goes wrong with them, you can't get them repaired, and we're at that point. So
New technology is great.
yes, I think technology is switching, upgrading every 6 months to a year, and these
Yeah.
radios are probably 6, 7 years
Oh,
old,
yeah.
if not older.
Yeah, Josh did. He reached out while you were on vacation.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So,
Any questions?
for remember when we did this the last fiscal year? We let this be encumbered to bring it into this fiscal year, so we'd still have the money set aside for these. Okay. Alderman Butler.
Are y'all with items of information?
No, this is just,
Okay.
we have to vote on this first.
Yeah, gotcha.
Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Butler,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Hightower,
Yes.
Bouchard, Wands, 4,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. Information Chief.
I know that our candidates at the Academy or PTI are doing very well. I get their test scores. I believe all of them are well above the class average. So I always look forward to that and seeing how they progress. I did see that the 2 officers that we have in field training right now either have moved or are close to moving to step 2 in their field training program. And I haven't heard a whole lot, so that's a good thing. Usually they don't tell me about it till the end unless there's something wrong, so I'm real happy with that. Any questions?
Questions?
Y'all got one question. I'm glad to be updating our radios, and how are we doing on cameras?
The body-worn cameras, we are now looking at different options. Remember, we're in a 5-year contract. I think we're in year 3 or 4 with Digital Ally. The cameras are good whenever our IT invests a lot of time that they shouldn't have to be investing in. Last time they told me it was sometimes they spend about 30 hours a week collectively on making sure everything's downloaded and available. One of the things that we switched to this company that we're with was when you go to the cloud base, there's supposed to be fewer problems in storing. There's just a lot of, I can't really explain some of the challenges that we've had, but yes, we are definitely, matter of fact, we're testing another model now.
Oh yeah, and how long do they keep those videos?
It just matters.
6 months?
If it's I believe by the body-worn camera statute, they have to, the system has to purge itself if it's not claimed under evidence. I believe every 90 days it's required. And then, like if it's evidence, don't quote me on the statute, but if it's evidence, we have to keep it as long as that particular statute requires it to be like, say if it's a homicide, I mean, you gotta keep evidence from a homicide forever. It just matters what it is.
And so we also use them like for traffic stops and all that stuff as well. And then my last question, I suppose, is if anybody want to, whoever we stop, and they think that they were wrongly stopped or what have you, what are the recourses of getting those films or cameras or?
Well, under city ordinance, I believe they've got, what is it, 60 days to file a formal complaint. And then, is that correct? Is it 60 days to file a formal complaint through HRD? Is it 60 or 90? Yes, but the short answer is yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there's paperwork and all that stuff you gotta go through.
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay, that's all I have, Chairman.
Anything else?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Is it?
We'll say we are doing a physical agility testing segment of our new candidate list on Saturday.
Oh, all right. Yeah, Chief, yeah, how did my girl Mia do on that taser, man? You know that you didn't call me, give me any information.
Well, we can talk about it. Taser training is very, it's got to be very intense for the
Yeah, I know
officer
it is.
candidate. And because there's, usually an audience and people there in
Right.
support.
Yeah.
And but we've all been through it. I've been through it several times as an former instructor. And yeah, it's enlightening.
You see, it's like lightning or it's enlightening?
It's enlightening.
Oh, it's enlightening.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 10, Public Transportation Director White, have your items of information, your monthly report, anything to add?
I just wanted to hit Alderman Butler. If you look on the first page of my report, under advertising for the month of May, we got $6,140. District 118 does one.
Patel.
DAC, Patel, the casino, and then we've got, partial ones, State Farm Insurance. IDOT recently done a couple on the back of the buses. So the amount we get can differ from month to month, just depending on what contracts are up that month.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Other questions? All right. Thanks, Steve.
I do have one other thing.
Okay.
FY26 budget has been finalized through IDOT. I should be getting the papers back within the next, I'll say, month, and I'll have them to you guys hopefully within a month. It's roughly 3.9 million, I think, is what we ended up.
We get to keep our money for another fiscal year.
Yes, our money.
Good. All righty. Moving on to Public Works, item number 11, Director Rui. We have 11A, an ordinance vacating an alley or part thereof pursuant to Chapter 30 of the City Code for alley near 419 Benzel Avenue, 501 Benzel Avenue. Petitioner, City of Danville, on behalf of James Osterber and Georgia Patricia A. Vasilio. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Hightower,
Yes.
Bouchard, Wands,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. 11B is an ordinance vacating the alley or part thereof pursuant to Chapter 30 of the City Code for alley near 110 Orchard Street for petitioner Kenneth W. Kuchevsky. Need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Hightower,
Yes.
Bouchard, Wands,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
5 yes.
Yes, thank you. And the petitioners, if you want to hang around for the rest of the meeting, you're more than welcome. If not, you're more than welcome to leave. Cubs are on, right, Ken? All righty, and we'll vote. The full council will vote on this next Tuesday. Moving on to 11C, an ordinance changes the name of a street within the corporate limits of Danville from Harding Place to Christian
I believe it's Jace.
Jace Cove.
Yeah.
Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Okay, and there is a young lady to speak. There she is. On behalf of, she missed the audience or the audience comments portion.
Chairman, her name is PJ of 9 Harding Place.
Okay, PJ, you want to come up to the mic?
Hello, and I thank you all for being patient with me. I had an emergency, but I'm so glad to be here today. I am Christian Jace Philip Bourne's grandmother. Christian Jace was born on the 5th of September. He never said a word. He never opened his eyes, but I was able to get a heartbeat, and I was able to record that heartbeat, and I was able to keep that on my phone. His heartbeat never beat again after I heard it the first time, but I want to keep it alive by keeping the street named after him. That was my grandson, Christian Jace Philip Bourne. And that is why I'd like to change the name. We lived there, we've been there for a year, and we want to honor him by that way. I know that there are streets honored in honor of a lot of people here in Danville, and I would like to honor this one. This is a part of my heart, as there are some that are here already, such as Jerry, Dick Van Dyke, and all of those which are famous to us as well. But this one is a part of my blood, and this is why I'd like to honor him, Christian Jace Philip Bourne. And I thank you all so much.
Okay, we'll have some discussion, and we'll
And
vote.
I do have a picture of him and me holding him. He never opened his eyes. He was born still into the arms of Jesus. This is the love of my life, my angel.
Yep.
I thank you all.
Okay, did we have a motion in a second? Yes.
Yes, we did.
She explained the reasoning for this. All the other streets, like the Memorial Way, we didn't rename a street, we just made it a Memorial Way with their name on it. Martin Luther King Drive, we never changed Main Street, but we attached Martin Luther King Jr.'s name.
So to add some clarification to this, and I just wanted to make note, never mind the reason of the request, is this doesn't happen very often. So how the city council proceeds from this is going to be precedence, right? There are no policies and procedures in place for roadway name changes. We've thought of several different options to accommodate special requests like this, and make it a win-win situation. One of those suggestions being honorary roadways. Can we create a process so every single household living at the end of the road in Danville? Yeah, correct. There are other roads, I can't name off the top of my head, where there's one house. There's another petition tonight where there's one factory at the end of the roadway. It can be, for lack of better words, dangerous or concerning if the city council sets this precedence to change roadway names for a resident per se, right? But there might be a win-win situation out of this, like Martin Luther King Drive, Mervis Industries, I don't know, roadway, right? Honorary roads. But that's up to the city council. I just wanted to provide, this is the first one of my 6 years here, and I believe there's been 3 roadway name changes in City of Danville history. And Martin Luther King Drive is an actual roadway name change, but it's a small segment in front of the jet, right? Logan Avenue being another one, and there's a third, okay? I think we can make this a win-win. We just have to be very careful how we operate moving forward on roadway name changes. I just wanted to put that out there.
The last one that really was controversial was Ball Street. Wall Street wanted to be renamed Industrial Drive, wasn't it? Back in the, and there was a large outcry from the heirs or the relatives, the survivors of the Balls. You know, because they were wanting to change that street, and that name change never happened. That's, you know, I've been around a long time. That's one of the few I can remember coming before the council actually changed the name of the street. We just did last year. We named part of Walnut Vicki Hogan Memorial. I think one block, wasn't it? A one block segment in her memory and honor. We didn't change the name per se, but we did attach the honorarium to it.
Yeah.
And like you say, with this, I mean, that could be something we could do.
I guess I would ask, I'll refer to her as the petitioner, would an honorary roadway name, just to get the consideration out there, would that be just enough for your request? Understood. Understood. Yeah.
I guess I wonder too, the Harding name came from somewhere. Do we know where? Do we know the history on why it was named Harding?
Is no recorded ordinance to how that, and this is more complex than that actually. This little stint of this roadway is also named James Place. It has two roadway names.
Okay, that's
yes.
right. Yeah.
And the post office, do they have any say-so on street addresses and stuff?
No, the city of Danville has the authority for addresses and roadway names.
How long is this area, and how many houses are on this area? Is it a block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks?
It's a half a block, and
half a
her home is located directly at the end of this roadway. There are 2 houses adjacent to the roadway, but those are Vermilion Street addresses. It's a very short segment of roadway, half a block.
It's on Vermilion, just north of Rose Lawn, goes back to the east, and then you go back there and you'll notice the house on the right as you're looking at the street is like an English style white painted brick that's sort of flaked. It's a real attractive home, and then there's another older brick home on the left. And then the drive opens up onto Harding, but it's an address for Vermilion on both those, if I recall.
Yeah, local side.
Hold on.
A question. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that listed as an alley? I might be wrong.
Yeah, so
But
per
I thought that was listed as an alley.
per our GIS, I will double check for you. But per our GIS, it does have a roadway. Well, it actually has 2 roadway names, so I have to interpret that as a roadway.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I was under the impression it was listed as an alley.
we'll double check that in the morning. We'll take a look at the subdivision map and confirm it if we can locate a subdivision map.
Alderman Wands?
I totally appreciate what you're trying to do, and I've lost too, and I know how much you want to remember and how much you want to honor, and I respect that greatly. I'm just not sure about setting the precedent of what we're doing. I would have no problem at all as a memorial. I just don't know if we're opening up a can of worms or not, and probably half of us would like to have something in memory of someone. I don't know, I've got really emotional mixed feelings about it, and then I'm trying to think of what is best for the city, you know, as a whole. And it's really hard sometimes to separate the emotional from the reasoning, and I'm a little
If it was someone else, you know, it would be a different, if it involved another house, another neighbor, another person, another being, that would be quite understandable, but it's just me, it's just my family, just my house, and no one else. So that's, it was a very private area, no one else.
Alderman Butler.
And, you know, I can understand both sides as well. Say we did ran into that issue that, like you said, Chairman, a while back, but I kind of think if the street is not named after anyone, I'm sure that we shouldn't have a issue of renaming the street. And you know, that's the only issue that would come if somebody come forward and say, "Hey, Harding was my grandfather's, you know, name on that street," but then I can see that there's an issue.
Yeah.
And so until then, I mean, I can't see why we can't do it.
Yeah.
Can we get, do we have a little history, like from James, you said James Place
Yeah.
to Harding to?
We dug into it. We found no ordinance for street names. There's subdivision maps listing different roadway names, but that is it. We dug into it. And for the record, Alderman Butler, completely impartial, just providing my guidance. I'm equally as touched by the story.
Yes, I am too.
Alderman Ludwig, or Vice Mayor Ludwig, come hither. Do you have a mic there?
Yes.
Is it on?
Oh. This house was built by Dr.
folks here?
Harding in Danville.
No, we can't hear.
You said out of voice here, Vice Mayor.
There we go.
This house was built by Dr. Harding some years ago, 1969, I believe. And I'm not sure that Dr. Harding has any family still living in Danville. It was part of his, I mean, he had his medical practice in the basement. But I have not heard of any family members still living in Danville. And I will likely be recusing myself from this vote next week because I lived in this house for 17 years. And we sold this house to the Bournes, so.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say.
So
about it,
Eve
unless
does know
anybody
that
has
this
any
was
questions
Eve's
about
old
it.
house before she moved a
Yeah.
couple years ago.
So some of you may have been in this house.
So with that presumption, after hearing that history, my presumption is Harding Place derived from whenever they constructed this home, they created lot lines, and on that subdivision, they likely listed Harding Place over the top of James Place, but an ordinance was never passed to take place of James Place, therefore you have two roadway names.
Mm-hmm.
It probably says on the title work would have some information, wouldn't it?
No, just addresses, and Harding Place was the address delineated to this property.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see both. I've lost two children, so I can feel your pain. But again, we have to watch a precedent that we would be setting, you know, by, I mean, in memory of, or the honorarium, or you know, Memorial Way or something is something we've done in the past. But the street name changing could open up, even though it's only one house on the end of this on this street. You know, there's let's say we have businesses that have asked for name changes. We have one coming up after this. So, you know, I mean, we've denied industry a name change, and like I say, I've been on the council 24 years, and I don't remember ever renaming a residential street. I don't remember that ever coming before the council. So I mean, it's, you know, it's we need to give guidance to the rest of the aldermen, because this will go for a vote next Tuesday. There were some negatives when we even, the Memorial Way, there was questions raised for Vicky Hogan. And that was specified. It's not a street name change. It's just a segment of that street being a memorial way.
And there is, when we do that, isn't there a sign put below the street sign?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking. I know out at the ballpark, there's, we
Right.
added a.
Same exact process, except this street would have 3 names now.
So I mean that's a way to solve. There's another street name, Memorial Way. That's a way to solve both problems, I think. Other
Will that pertain to the next one?
Well, we'll have to talk about that at the next one.
Yeah. Correct. Correct.
I mean, so I guess we would have to vote no, or we would have to amend. I mean, how do we do, Logan? What's your advice?
I truly believe that, I would leave that up to the petitioner on how she wants to proceed, because it has to go on to city council anyway. If she wants to request to pull it, I think we pull it and we go for the honorary way. If she would like to proceed and have a full city council consideration, I think that is fit as well. So I guess how would you like to proceed with this petition at this point? Okay. Okay.
So you want to proceed to the full council? Okay.
Could she come to the mic, get that on the audio?
Can we get that on the record? It would sound very confusing.
Just whatever you said, just repeat it.
I would gladly repeat myself. I would like to proceed and go forward and name it Christian J's Cove and bring it before the council.
For the reason being?
Reason being that I would like to keep the name, instead of having James and Walker, let it be Bourne, Christian J's Cove, because I am a Bourne and I live on that street.
James and Harding.
James and Harding, yeah.
Yeah, instead of James and Harding, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we just want to get it on.
Absolutely.
Audio,
It's
okay?
on the record. Amen.
So we'll decide, this committee will vote, and then it will go on to the full council next week as a name change, not a memorial or anything, okay? All right, well, thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wands.
No.
Butler.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Both ways.
Both ways.
Yes, but I could change my vote if I hear any controversies over it next week.
Hightower.
Yes.
Bouchard. Poor.
No.
3 yes.
3 yes. Okay, it will move on to the full council without a recommendation. Okay. All right, moving on to 11D, an ordinance changes the name of the street within the corporate limits of the Danville from Walls Creek to Dynamic Place. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Now, we could use the same argument.
Yeah, a little bit different.
But this is a little bit different.
Yeah, this is a little bit different. I will say I've been working with ThyssenKrupp, who is the petitioner for this roadway name change. Kind of the same little segment of little roadway with one, in this instance, factory at the end of the half a block of roadway. I have been working with the CEO of ThyssenKrupp on this, and also this is why it's different. I am working with ThyssenKrupp to actually vacate this roadway to ThyssenKrupp. So in order to have this desired name, it would need to be in place so their address can change prior to the vacation of the alleyway. I will not guarantee that this alleyway will go through. I will tell you that it's likely that we will vacate this alley to ThyssenKrupp so they can control it and we can stop maintaining it. Okay. So that's the strategy behind this roadway name change and right-of-way vacation in the future. There has to be a maintenance agreement or an agreement with Blue Cross Blue Shield worked out prior to that next petition to vacate, because there is a path of ingress and egress for Blue Cross Blue Shield. So they need to get a little bit of an agreement worked out prior to vacation.
And the building at the top, at the northwest building is the Blue Cross Blue Shield, correct?
Correct. And it's not their only path of ingress egress. It's
Yeah.
just one that they would choose to have remain open.
And then the rest of the ThyssenKrupp and this.
Correct.
This, and Presta in relation to this is further west.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, once they would take ownership of it, there is advantages to this. They have some renovation plans to the pavement there for loading, unloading, things like that. Pretty advantageous, but that has literally nothing to do with the roadway name change. It just has to occur before the city vacates it.
So we would vacate Walls Creek then as it stands? I mean, as after the name change?
Yeah, so I will not with 100% certainty tell you that petition is coming. I can't guarantee that. They still have to fill it out and sign the petition. That is what we're working towards. And this is the roadway name change that needs to occur before so.
So off of Eastgate Court, then the red line would be vacated.
Mm-hmm.
And but the address would be Dynamic Drive.
This is a poor reflection on the red line you're referring to. This snub of road is much shorter than this red line. It's already a private drive.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
50 feet after you see the Blue Cross Blue Shield ingress egress, about 50 feet, maybe a little less, is where that turns into private roadway.
So just a little.
Yeah, another half a block, probably about the same distance.
A service entrance.
Harding Place, yeah.
Okay, Alderman Watts.
Just for a little clarification for me, if this name change would take it completely out of the cities as far as upkeeping the road, all of that. If once it's vacated, it would be their responsibility.
Yeah, so I don't want the confusion to arise of where the name change and the vacation of right-of-way are together. They're not. The name change is first, and I cannot guarantee that they're going to sign the petition to vacate, but in good faith, I hope they do.
Okay, so let's back up on the red line. So Walls Creek is actually, that's mainly a service road for ThyssenKrupp.
Correct.
The Walls Creek portion is just in front of the Blue Cross, to the east of the Blue Cross Blue Shield.
There's a pretty clear line here, Chairman Poor. You see where the grass is mowed and the roadway split into three different ways? That is basically where it switches into a private drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right before you go around.
Exactly.
So that's what's deceiving about it. That red line could be erased all the way back to that intersection, basically.
And we'll do so for the council meeting.
So it'd just be that little red going by the Blue Cross Blue Shield building. That would be the name change.
And so the way I understand it too, they haven't talked to Blue Cross Blue Shield yet.
Yeah, I have introduced them. They've been speaking for the last couple of weeks, and if we're going to be talking about precedents, it will go without saying that if you want to change the name of your road, then you can own it, right?
Right.
So it's just an option for precedence purposes.
And so I would hate to see us in the middle of a situation there that they don't agree or
oh no,
about you and the same.
Rest assured, I will not allow an ordinance to be passed where an ingress egress easement is not allowed to Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Right.
Yeah, that will never happen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
That makes sense?
That makes sense.
You'll erase that red line and only put the little portion that we're going to actually change.
Yes,
or that's
correct.
actually being talked about changing.
Correct. It's actually a oddly shaped parcel. We'll identify the parcel that would indeed be vacated in the future. as well.
Chief, did you have something? Did I see somebody? Did you put your hand up? Maybe Eve, did you have your hand up? Okay. Alderman Kane.
Does Waltz Creek have any significance?
Not that we're aware of.
So there'll be no complaints or no history to a name?
He might know some.
I think it relates this. I think this was Walsh Creek Farm originally. I think that's why it's called Walsh Creek.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's no families.
And Lick Creek was a family name farm too, wasn't it? The Lick Creek, that name came from.
That I don't know about that, but I know there was I've seen old plans and plats where Walsh Creek is Walsh Creek Farm, I believe, in this area here. I assume that's where the name came from.
So we're talking about vacating or renaming that short section with the hopes of vacating that entire stretch, still allowing egress for Blue Cross Blue Shield and no responsibility for maintaining that again.
Correct.
And you gonna get any kind of formal letter from Blue Cross Blue Shield on this?
I have it in writing in emails that is their intent. But that's where this is tricky. I don't foresee them signing an agreement. The next step would be them signing the petition to vacate it, which they've shown. Dave has been in the meetings. They've shown all the want to do so. That's all I can really say. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions, comments?
Dynamic place, way. Again.
Dynamic place.
If this is going to turn into an owned private, whatever you want to call it, roadway, that they're taking care of the maintenance, so on and so forth, and relinquish all that responsibility and cost from the city, and no one else uses it but them, I can see how this is different than our previous one.
Yeah.
I have a hard time voting on what ifs.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it more difficult. If our previous person bought that piece of, could buy that piece roadway within, you know, absolutely no problem for me. I don't know, this really.
I can make this a little bit more simple, and Dave could correct me if I'm wrong here. We could postpone this request so we can have we could hypothetically pass the roadway name change prior to ordinance to vacate right of way in the same. They can't go in the same ordinance, but they can go one after another. So you know it's there. They've requested it. A little bit more comfort that they're taking responsibility of the roadway as well. Would we be amenable to that request?
So we would rename it first and vacate.
Yeah, in the same night.
Two ordinances.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally would feel better about that.
I will ask the petitioner. They will be here at the night of city council, but I will ask the petitioner if that is what they wish to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want us to just postpone the vote, or do you want us to vote? Or
I would send it to consideration tonight because I will ask the CEO of ThyssenKrupp tomorrow and see what he wants to do.
So we'll vote on the name change, and then it will still go to the full council with some changes.
I don't feel like I can vote on the name change without knowing.
We have to vote on, to move it to the full council.
I know.
We need to vote to move it to the full council.
We changed things where they.
Right, Leon? We have to vote one up or down to move it to the full council, correct? Yeah. the committee.
But it's gonna go to full council whether we vote it up or down anyway.
Right, that's what I'm saying,
But it's just our recommendation.
right. Huh?
I may be out of order, but you would need more votes if you voted it down.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I know that is for zoning, but does that work for
Okay.
committee as well? Super
no,
majority?
okay.
No, I
No,
don't believe
no,
that's
no.
the case.
Only to overturn zoning.
Yeah, zoning is the only one that I believe that's the case.
Yeah. Super majority, which would be 10. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Butler,
Let's see. Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Hightower,
Yes.
Bouchard, Wands,
I'll say yes, only to move it on.
4,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. Moving on to 11E is approving the 25-29 or 25 through 29 CDBG Consolidated Plan and the 2025 CDBG Annual Action Plan. Need a motion and a second, please?
So move.
Okay. Any more to add on that?
No.
No? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Hightower,
Yes.
Bouchard, Wands,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. 11F is a resolution amending the fiscal year 25-26 budget for Community Development Block Grant Fund 106. Need a motion and a second, please.
So move.
I'd second.
Okay. Questions? Okay. Roll call.
Alderman Hightower,
Yes.
Bouchard, Wands,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. How do you guys want to handle these next ones? Contract bid, you want to take them all separate or you want to take them as a group? Together? Okay, if there's no objection, I'd like to take G, H, and I together. They're all resolutions for bids for parking lot ceiling and pavement, Midtown TIF sidewalk, and seal coat bids. So we would be voting on 11G, H, and I. G is a resolution awarding the contract for bid number 773, the 2025 parking lot ceiling and pavement marking. H is a resolution awarding the contract for bid 775, Midtown TIF sidewalk improvements. And I is a resolution awarding the contract for bid number 777, seal coat, and bid number 778, Cape Seal. Mercy. All right, no objection, need a motion and a second.
I just have a question.
Yes.
Are any of these awards to local contractors or anything?
It's all on bid process, right?
Can we
Yeah,
get
it's
it on
all-
the table first?
Oh,
Chairman?
we need
We got,
Oh, yeah, we need to carry.
gotta get a second. before we
Need a second.
discuss it.
Second.
Okay, now we can discuss it. Okay.
Yes, they're open to all local contractors and anybody that sees the advertisement.
Are they placed where local contractors can see them?
Yes.
And that is where?
It's located on a website that we use, Quest, that we advertise, and it's also advertised on the city website under bids. And if anybody wants to pick up plans and specifications, they're always welcome to come to Public Works as well. We will provide to any bidder.
Okay. Thank you.
And there's requirements that the contractors have to meet as far as
Sure, I'm
federal,
familiar
state,
with that.
things, so.
Not new to me. I'm familiar with that.
Yep. Okay.
Explanation of these, basically the first one is parking lot ceiling and pavement marking. It's basically for 4 parking lots that we call parking lot C, D, G, and the Palmer Arena lots. That's bid 773. Bid 775 is the Midtown TIF sidewalk improvements. We've been each year chipping away doing sidewalk improvements in the Midtown TIF, and this is for various sidewalks in that TIF area. You got anything else to add, Logan, on that?
No, the thought process behind doing Midtown TIF sidewalk improvements is, one, we found out that it makes the businesses really happy in the Midtown TIF, right? It's a show of good faith to those businesses. Invest dollars in the Midtown TIF, and we'll try to take care of you the best as we can as well. Two is, per state statute, the city of Danville must either plan or spend or encumber almost all of the TIF funds that have been brought in via revenue the prior year. So those funds need to be encumbered or planned for. And this is a good way to do that. This is a very mature and healthy TIF. Of course, this number will go down. It would go down next year if we had a large project that would take the rest of the funds. But to stay within the state statute and to spend the dollars wisely, in our opinion, this is how it's done.
And then we do have all the supporting showing all the areas that will be done. That was at your they asked. Okay.
Yeah, and then lastly, the annual, what we're calling the 25 general maintenance program for seal coat and cape seal. Basically, we're doing 20 lane miles of seal coat this year throughout various portions of the city. And then we're also doing 6.5 lane miles of cape sealing in various locations.
Alderman Butler, go ahead.
Yeah, Eric, what is the difference between the seal coat and the cap? What's that?
Cape seal.
Cape seal.
Cape seal.
Yeah, seal coat is basically just rock and chip and oil that's laid down. It's just usually one or two coats that they put on there. Cape seal is that process plus the microsurface on top. That you see that darkened surface.
On top. It looks like
seals
blacktop.
it. Yeah, it looks like blacktop. It's just it just seals that oil and chip for seal coat.
So just for further clarification there, one thing that we end up getting every single year, so these Cape Seal streets, we typically do those on higher trafficked arterial roads. That's typically where that treatment gets put. When we do the treatment, the seal coat contractor comes through and seal coats even these high traffic areas. A lot of times we'll start getting a lot of phone calls and complaints about, you guys put a tar and chip on this nice road. And so just to clarify, when they're getting cape sealed, that treatment happens and traffic has to work that rock into all of the tar basically, and then they'll come back and cape seal a few weeks later. So just to clarify, people might see that treatment go on and get frustrated, but there is more to come. If it's a high traffic road, there's more to come. So feel free to give us a call for clarification on whether that's happening or not on any of those streets. But we do have maps that are on our website that people can see, delineate what's getting done.
What was those streets? It was where it looked so nice, and all of a sudden there's rock, dumping rock every Vermilion, and people are going, oh,
Lynch, Voorhees.
Oh my God, you put that rock on top of that nice asphalt.
Yeah. So we do come back after the fact.
Alderman Hightower.
I just want to commend you guys on the excellent job that you've done in the previous years on that. I thought it was the most outstanding, wonderful thing. Thank you for all you do.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Yeah, that cape seal's nice. I mean,
yes, wonderful jobs. Wonderful jobs. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Alderman Butler.
Yeah, and also, I think I talked to you before that too that day. I mean, when y'all done my street, I just got the seal coat. I didn't get the cape seal. Yeah, the rocks are still coming up there, it's okay. They cover the cracks and everything there, and I was just waiting on that cape seal that man come through there,
Yeah.
And because I can hear cars throwing those rocks.
Yeah. They done such a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Chairman Poor,
Yes.
I think Administrator Ollis had something she wanted to share.
No, I was just gonna say, we did just post all of that information on our
Oh,
social
that's
media
right.
pages. I also emailed it directly to city staff and the aldermen. So if you're getting questions about it, I know that the guys at Public Works do a great job and that they're very busy. So if you can do any help by directing traffic to showing them the articles that we've posted, that's really helpful for the Public Works staff. And also make sure our citizens are getting the most direct, transparent information about what road work is being done.
You put two different links, I think, too, didn't you?
I'm sorry?
Two different links in case one wouldn't open. There's
Yep,
another one.
there's
too,
one
so.
in the PDF, and then there was some people struggling with that one. I attached another link. Like I said, it's on our social media pages. It's on our website, so
Yeah.
definitely you can have anybody reaching out with questions.
So they'll
check
see
there.
all this that we've received.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, there. Thanks, Ariana. And so now I had a customer came to me, and her street was done like my street, and I can just tell her that she just got that, tar and chip, and that's it. And
Yeah, and a lot of times, so on these side roads and stuff, I'll just give a little bit of an update. So on the seal coat prep, so our internal crews will go through, and what we call it internally is we call it seal coat prep. But basically what we're doing is a lot of times we'll go through if there are water flow issues or rideability issues where a road has a big dip in it or something,
Right.
we try to fill that in and get everything leveled out.
Right.
But it looks very ugly at the beginning prior to the seal coat coming in, because that's a contractor coming in, and we're doing that in preparation for the contractor coming in to seal coat over the top of everything. The goal is to get that done, and then the seal coat comes in over the top of everything, seals it all up. A lot of the purpose behind seal coat, when roads are getting cracked up and everything,
Right.
that causes water to get in, and when water freezes and thaws, it starts popping and making big potholes.
Right.
So we want to make it ride nice and get potholes patched and all that. Make sure water flows. On a lot of seal coat streets, there will be curb and gutter as heavy trucks or traffic drives down that road. A lot of times it'll make a dip, in the road, and so water will sit there in that dip and it won't make it to the curb line.
Right.
So if it doesn't make it to the curb line, that water causes those roads to deteriorate much, much faster. So this is our way of, hey, we can get it to the curb line, make sure water gets off the road, make sure it rides nice, and then we go through and seal coat it. So that seals it all up and make sure it lasts. So that's this is maybe the 6th year or so. So prior engineer Cole worked on this in conjunction with his entire team. His entire team has been taking this moving forward, and the goal is all these seal coat roads by 5 or 6 years we want to make sure we're reapplying. So this is actually our first year of going back to ones that we've done in previous years to get back through it. So we don't have to put down near as much asphalt this year. So we're ahead of schedule and we're getting stuff seal coated. We're going to be able to get it seal coated earlier on in the year. That allows the heat of the summer to really let that aggregate work in, and we're hoping that we have far less excess rock,
Right, exactly.
and then they have time to kind of get everything done and get that rock, any of that excess rock picked up before winter comes and we plow it into people's yards. So that's the goal.
That's going to help tremendously getting that down earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
right,
it's been
yeah.
freezing before and it's been going down, and that never
There's been
never
times where
works
that's
in.
been the case. Yeah.
Good. Did we do a roll call? Okay, roll call please on G, H, and I.
Alderman Wands?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Hightower?
Yes.
Bouchard? Poor?
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. The next 2 items deal with professional service agreements. If there's no objection, we take those both together. J is a resolution approving professional service agreement for bridge roadway design engineering services. K is a resolution approving a professional service agreement for planning service for the grade crossing and rail consolidation study. Need a motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay.
Okay, on this one, the first one, Resolution J, this is professional services for 3 of our bridges. As it states there, we own 30 bridges here in the city of Danville, and we've done routine inspections. Our consultant has identified 3 bridges, the North Bowman over Stony Creek, Fairchild Street over Stony Creek, and Stonegate over the CSX Railroad. Those are 3 bridges that are in high need of repairs. And so this agreement here is basically to do the roadway design engineering. That's the roadway up to each bridge in conjunction with the repair to the bridges. So that's what this resolution is all about. And then the second one is last year, before DATS was dissolved, former engineer Sam Cole applied for a statewide planning and research grant from IDOT, as the resolution states, for $400,000. And basically this is looking at grade crossing and rail consolidation study. Basically it's looking at the rail roads North Fork Southern and CSX, highlighting Bowman and Voorhees Street, as we've all traveled through there. And there's been studies in the past. This is looking at another study and using also sensors to look at vehicles, the train traffic, and pedestrians through this corridor as well. And the consultant is to provide recommendations to the city, which would be the best way to do an overpass or do some kind of consolidation, combining potentially the NS and CSX to eliminate some of these crossings. So that's basically the gist of what we are having the consultant do here.
So my understanding is that we have to pay a consulting to figure out what we're going to do with these crossings.
Well, actually, we've got a $400,000 grant, okay, and we have to kick in $100,000. So they're basically looking at this study to look at what would be the best approach with the railroad crossings.
Okay, and so after he come back and tell us what needs to be done, is it our job to repair it, or is it CSX or whatever train company?
No, it's just
possibility.
It's just a recommendation of what can be done. Yeah, there's.
Okay, what can be done, and then once he's tell us what can be done, but then is it up to us to pay for it?
If that's what we so choose.
You know, to get it fixed.
Yeah,
right.
If that's what we choose to do, this is basically giving us information to where we can potentially make decisions in the future with information such as, like, what are the options, what are the possibilities, and what may be the costs for those options potentially. All those implications of, you know, and is it worth it? This is all the information we would need to make those decisions, basically.
Yeah, this is going to be crucial information to apply for further grant funds for studies like this.
That's a good point.
Yeah. This study would need to be done in order. So essentially the way DATS works, and I think it was dissolved before you became an alderman, is that correct? Or is DATS around? It doesn't matter. DATS made this decision, it's been years ago now. They programmed it into action prior to the dissolving, since the city of Danville is no longer an MPO, a metropolitan, okay? So that was a group of individuals that represents the entire county, villages, counties, etc. They allocated these dollars as a group to the city of Danville for this study. And then, it would be up to the city council to deploy dollars with the options the consultants will give, but it's also crucial to apply for grant funds to pay for these improvements to have this data and information.
Okay.
And both railroads have to consult with you too on this, right?
Yes.
They're part of the process?
Yes, we would have to get agreements and work with both NS and CSX, as we've done in the past. Yeah.
Which is a long process.
It's a very long process, yes indeed.
I'll be retired by then. Okay, anyone else? Roll call, right?
Still need a roll call. Yes,
Roll call,
correct.
please.
Alderman Butler,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Hightower,
Yes.
Bouchard, Wands. 4,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, thank you. Item of information.
Yeah, do you guys have anything before I go? All right, so just wanted to give a quick update on a few projects that have been going on and where we're at with things. First of all, work at Danville Stadium is starting to wrap up. We're getting ready to, I think here within this week, we should be finished up with the work there of our crews internally, and then we'll be headed on to the next project. The final stages that maybe haven't been seen by the public yet are there was a new office built, and then the old office, I think at one time was built to be a guest or visitor's locker room. That has now been turned back into a visitor's locker room, and we've actually created space in an existing space for offices. So outside of that, the work at the stadium's done. I just wanted to make sure our crews got the kudos. I know they got to go during the Public Services Committee meeting. This last one was opening night for the Dans. The Dans honored some of our guys and gals that have been down there and working. So anyway, we have some very talented individuals who basically we got a $100,000 grant, and that was stretched into a lot of different things because of the talented individuals that we've got working at Public Works. They're actually headed from there. They're going to be, we got a few minor repairs on buildings that we're going to be doing, and then they're headed to Harrison Park Clubhouse to continue work there that's being done. And we'll have more information about that project as we kind of get into it. So, and then another thing on my list was just we're actually so far ahead of schedule. We're getting to the point where we're wrapping up seal coat preparations, which is the asphalt strips on the sides of the roads and stuff that people would see. That is going to end up being done about a month and a half before it's ever been done in the past. Our crews are starting to get very good at it, and they're moving quickly. And so just kind of proud of everybody that's involved in that. Then next thing on my list is wanted to just give you guys an update on the MFT funds. You guys might not, it's been frozen. This fund is a fund through IDOT that's been frozen for the past few years as we are trying to make sure that basically between IDOT and the city of Danville that we know, funding, we know what we're in agreement with what funds are available basically in that. That's been under audit for quite some time, and we're starting to get to the tail end of that. You'll see that coming here soon, but just wanted to give a shout out and honor to where honor is due. I know Eric and his team have worked on this very heavily, and specifically Miss Marla Sutton has put in a lot of effort and used a lot of her talents and knowledge to get us to the end of this. So we're coming in on that. And in addition to that, I know that the treasurer's office and the finance team have also put in a ton of effort and time into that. So this is one of those fun things where you get to see the all of the divisions of the city kind of working together to get something done. So fun there. And then the last thing, I just wanted to shoot out a quick thanks. I think that being able to get information out is vital. And I'm constantly learning how to utilize the people and the talents that we have to really get information out. And so just wanted to say a quick thanks to our community relations administrator, Ms. Olis, and her team. They have become quite valuable as far to Public Works, especially. I know you guys utilize her as well, but she's really been just getting a lot of information out there. So I found I didn't even ask, and she found out about the information about seal coat roads and stuff, the roads that she put out today, and just put it out and got it out there. And she let me know that before this meeting, and I thought, man, that's awesome that all that's getting put out there. And I like that we're all working together as a team, and just wanted to give her a quick shout out because I thought that was really cool. And she's been very helpful to just get information out there for Public Works and the different projects we have going on. So outside of that, I have nothing else.
Questions?
That's great. Yeah, Dave, I've talked to y'all guys this several times. I really appreciate what y'all guys are doing there. We got a lot of young groups that I've watched before I even became a councilman. You know, so all y'all young fat fellas first come on, and it really inspires me. You know, give me something worth living for, to see y'all guys. I've done had some of them used to play little league football for me. Just working here, you know, and I just love it. And you know, I'm glad we can sit down and talk to y'all guys, you know, and ladies, and Rihanna, and you know, and crew, and the finance, like you said, Dave, is phenomenal. And I always say, you know, teamwork make the dream work. And so right now, so we're making the dream work for this whole city, from top on down to our fire department and police department and all. And I really appreciate it. So let's keep up the good work. Yep. Now, sometime I'm gonna stop and just chat and talk, just to kind of get in your head. Said now, just expect that. And you know, if y'all want to tell the mayor, I'll stop. You go ahead and tell him, and I'll tell him. You know, hey, you know, this is just as much my crew as it is yours.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on.
All
Item
right.
12 is closed session. But there is no need for closed session. Item of information, we've covered that. How about committee members' comments? Everybody finished? Okay. And haven't satisfied the agenda. Item 15, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.